Most people don't realize that they're sitting on a gold mine in their Google Search Console data, but it takes so much time on an ongoing basis to actually extract that value from it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use AI agents to automate the entire process end to end. And for this, we're going to be using Juno, the AI agent for marketing that has its own cloud computer. Now, this is important because when we look at Google Search Console, it's super valuable for so many reasons, but to really be on it and get the most out of it, you have to be checking it every week as a minimum so that you can see when different pages are falling off, where the opportunity is, when click-through rates are changing. So this is where an agent is super useful because it can keep an eye on it. So to get started, there's going to be three different things we focus on here. Firstly, the low-hanging fruit. And so this is really valuable. At previous companies, we've got so much value out of this technique. And what it comes down to is looking at content that's not ranking in the top 10. So it's 10 to 20, but it has impressions. Now, what does that mean? That means that if it's getting impressions, but it's not on the first page, then we're looking at something that has a lot of potential because there's a lot of upstream traffic that we're not tapping into because we don't yet have the visibility. So you're sitting on a gold mine there, essentially. And if you can maximize that and push that ranking up, you're going to get the most out of it. Now, there's also other criteria. We want it to be not edited recently, and we want to then improve the alignment of the content with whatever the terms are. And this is the beauty of Google Search Console. It's real traffic. It's not theoretical. It provides a daily feedback loop. This data is almost real time. And it provides the real search keyword. So unlike tools like Ahrefs, for example, you're getting the actual search keywords. And it's free. Of course, we love free stuff. So the second strategy we're going to focus on is internal linking. And this will kind of go into how we can bolster these low-hanging fruit pieces of content as well. But with internal linking, we're looking at scenarios where the position is 10 plus, there's low internal links, has related articles, and we can then pass equity across. What does that mean? Well, if you think of how crawlers work, they are landing on specific pages that they found based on either your sitemap or external backlinks. And then you can pass that equity across by branching that out, fanning it out to other pages by linking to them. And that's the beauty of internal linking. It's really one of the most powerful ways to bolster up and rise the tide on all of your content. And then the third thing we're going to focus on is low CTR metadata. So metadata is super important. I'm sure you already know this. It's the small piece of code at the top of every page that actually sets various things like the page title, the keywords, the description, stuff like that. These days, there's so many different pieces of metadata that it's actually quite hard to keep on top of. For example, if you're in e-commerce, then you have like hundreds of different things you can set based on stock and categories and variants and stuff like that. So it's something that's difficult to get right. And what we see is a lot of people will just kind of do it once and forget about it. And then if you think of traditionally how you're going to kind of diagnose this, it's actually really hard to then go and find which pages are lacking this metadata. So again, a great use case for agents. Now, we've already been through why Search Console is so great. Obviously, here you can see on one of our websites, we're getting a bunch of traffic through every single day, and so we have data. If you have a new brand and you don't have this data yet, you probably want to wait a little bit just to make sure that you have enough data to work from. Without data, Google Search Console isn't very valuable. So the AI, what we're going to do is make it be our eyes and ears. We're going to have it monitor for us. Instead of spending hours every week staying on top of this like you would traditionally do, or you'd have a junior maybe do this work for you, agents can now do that. And they can monitor it. Even if we're not on our computers, if we're sleeping, they can be doing this work. And that's the value of using agents. Really, it's more agents than AI. So agents can be our eyes and ears. So what we're going to look at first is connecting our agent to GSC, writing the agent's playbook. So actually kind of structuring how we can have it interact with our Google Search Console account, and then deciding our agent's work schedule. So actually saying, okay, this is when we want you to run. And I would recommend doing this kind of twice a week maybe, and looking at its history and its previous audits, and then deciding when it makes sense to reach out to us. This will all make sense in a second. Sounds a little bit complicated. It's not. So, like I said, we're going to use Juno. So, if you haven't used Juno yet, it's just a great way to deploy agents specifically for marketing. If you think of using something like Claude, which can also be super powerful, this is like Claude, but just for marketing. So instead of a generalist, it's a specialist, and there's a lot of advantages to that. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're just going to type connect to my Google Search Console. Okay, so you'll get this dialog come up, happens pretty quickly, and we're just going to connect. And give it some permission so that it can actually interact with things. And there we go, success. Okay, so we can use the agent to do this, but I'm just going to do it a little bit manually just to show you kind of how it works. If we click on artifacts at the top, click on document, this is going to give us a blank document, and we're going to use this to give the agent some kind of context and strategy. We'll call it playbook up here, and we'll just title it. So let's consider like this, like what we actually want to do. We want to detect the low-hanging fruit. We want to look for internal linking opportunities, and we want to scan for low CTR metadata. So I'm going to tie this in to number one. And the reason why is we don't want to be over-optimizing things that don't already have traffic and data. If it doesn't have impressions, then there's not much for us to go off, because that piece of content, whatever it is, if it's a product page, an article, or just an inner page, we don't know if it's found its feet yet within Google. So there's no real reason to optimize that because there's no potential there yet. With the low-hanging fruit, we know it's got that ranking. It already has potential. It's found its feet in terms of its keyword surface area. And now what we want to do is actually make it capture more of the clicks, not just the impressions. So we're using the impressions as our signal that it's found its feet. And now we just want to get more of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it, first of all, find these. So let's say... And this is kind of the beauty of it. We can use natural language. So we'll say I think we want it twice a week. So every Tuesday and Thursday. And of course, this depends kind of when you work. At 2 p.m., I want you to go into our GSC account for Reword, which is the brand, and do the following. Find low-hanging fruit. And we'll just explain this to it. So look for any piece of content that has... In fact, we want it to go through. So if we think of this with Google Search Console, we actually want it to go through based on the performance, so the queries. So what it's going to have to do is map these together based on queries and pages, and then tap into that, as you can see here. So it filters by the page. So look for any page that has some impressions already, say 50 plus in the last 30 days, but does not have a position on the first page for its queries. So create a data, store this in a database called low-hanging fruit. So we're going to get it to find these opportunities in Google Search Console, and then we're going to have it store this in a database called low-hanging fruit. What we're then going to do is... So what we're then going to do is we're going to have it find the internal link. So we're going to say, I then need you to find opportunities across our website to plant internal links to this piece of content. And in terms of like how many we want to find, I would say probably like 3 is a good starting point. So find 3 pages. And then the third bit is the metadata. So analyze the page's metadata and provide recommended improvements to optimize it for the queries. So now we've kind of outlined the strategy, and you might be thinking this is super short, and it is, but that's all it needs. This is pretty much a co-work, and that's how you want to treat it. So this is just like an outline, and it will go and it will figure this out for you. So then I'm going to say, send me an email if there's any opportunities that you would consider low-hanging fruit. Use your judgment and send the high-value opportunities to me. So I think this is pretty good. Now we can just speak to our agent and just say, read the playbook and execute, plus set everything up. And we could have created this playbook just by talking to the agent, but I just wanted to show you how you can also define this as a playbook yourself and then just have the agent execute. So it just depends on your kind of preference with working. So we can see it's reading this content that we've just put together, and it's listed its directory as well. So Juno does have its own kind of agent file space that you can see here. There's the playbook in it. And we can use this alongside its scheduling to create really powerful marketing workflows. So internally at Juno, we have like these set up for everything. And honestly, thinking about how we worked at previous companies, you'd probably need like a team of 20 to outcompete it in terms of productivity. So you can see here, it's added the Google Search Console package. You don't have to set up any MCP servers. You don't have to set up any skills. It just has the knowledge because it's specialized for marketing. So it's running some queries for us here. We're going to leave this and then we'll review it once it's kind of made some progress. So just checking in now, and we can see that it's been running for about 4 minutes up here, and it will just keep running autonomously. We could like close our browser. We could go away now and just leave it and it will do its thing. But you can see it's grabbed all the data, it's processed it, it's created some code to actually analyze the data and create the opportunities here. And now it started crawling the website. So you can see it's actually using its own browser to explore the website and find those opportunities. And if I had to guess, it's probably looking for those internal linking opportunities. So we'll leave it a little bit longer and see what the actual output is when it's done all of its work. But just have a think about, if you were doing this, how much time it would actually take you every single week or multiple times a week. And we can just have AI agents do it for us now instead. So now it's created the database and it started putting opportunities within it. So if we just full screen this quickly and have a look, we can see our free tools. That kind of makes sense. Reword free tools. It's probably got loads of queries for like various things. Okay. So this is the cool part now. So it's actually done its own research and then it's decided, hey, I think we can outline the playbook better based on everything I've just learned from doing that. Kind of took me on a tangent there, but it's literally just done that, and it's established this workflow, outlined the output, and it's created the schedule. This never fails to amaze me. So it's created the schedule, 2 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. That's when it's going to run. It's created these opportunities here, and it's probably planning its first email to me as well. Okay, it's creating the report. So this is cool. Like, it's got all the data, the clicks, the queries, and it's created this artifact here. It's presenting them to me. Okay. So let's see what it's saying then. So it's analyzed and it's found in the last 30 days 5 pages with 50 plus impressions that are ranking off page. 2 of these are high priority. So that's amazing. So 1,000 impressions here, and average position is 17. And that's in the free AI tool. So this is probably, that's getting 4 clicks. So if it's, I don't know how much you know about organic rankings, but from memory, it's like 80% goes to the first item. So how many clicks go to the first Google search results? Let's see. Oh, it's less than I thought. Okay, so the top 3 gets 54%. Top 3 gets 54% of clicks. So if this is position 17 and it's getting 4 clicks, we'll be talking about literally tens of thousands of clicks if we get anywhere near those top 3. So that's got a huge amount of potential. The Reword app login, so it makes sense why it would think that's an issue. We can obviously optimize the playbook just to let it know actually, think about what's really valuable. Okay, yeah, so it said what's actually a priority based on that. Obviously, the agent knows what the login page is. So the other one is the branded reword query, and this is a problem with Reword because we use a generic term for the name, reword.co. That's a problem for it. So it's definitely right there. The agent's right. So we can pass some link equity to that as well. And that desktop app. So the desktop app page is like a good example of kind of somewhere we'd want somewhere to go, because if somebody's searching for like desktop app writing tools, we would want Reword to show up. And then this here paraphrasing tool, 63 impressions, average position is 72. So if we looked at all the queries, we could have our agent now just like jump into that, look at all of our queries, and be like, okay, which one should we be focusing on here? Create some code to find which queries are going to have the highest leverage and then focus on them. Look at how we can pass, link equity back to them through internal linking. Look at how we can optimize the schematics for the metadata and whatnot. So that kind of makes complete sense. Like our click-through rate here is not bad at all. Average position overall isn't bad, but there's all these impressions and 79 clicks. Like there's so much more potential there based on what we're seeing in this data. So if we go down now, so it's grabbed our metadata for the free tools page and it's got a recommendation. So title is solid. I agree with that. Free AI tools for blogs is exactly what it says on the tin. Description could be stronger. So current description, use our free library of AI tools. Yeah, it could probably mention SEO, probably be targeted more towards marketers. Highest impression volume, already ranks well for Reword AI Free and Reword. So it's actually looked at individual queries here and added that to the audit, which is amazing. Okay, it kind of knows what's going on here with the login page and it thinks that we should be focusing on that because it is our login page, which I get. That does make sense. Reword app. See, Reword app is going to get like a lot of collateral traffic from people just searching for an app that does rewording or something. So that's position 11.3, just off page 1, and it's getting 163 impressions. So that's like a huge amount of opportunity just there that we're not currently tapping into and really should be. So this is absolutely awesome. Obviously, it's got one that's low priority here. It's put some next steps down for me, and now it's scheduled this just to run. So this is like a great example. Like it's created these artifacts, it's created the database, it's created the documents, and it's just going to kind of do its thing now every Tuesday and send us back all this information when we need it. And just to show you how cool this is, I received an email from the agent attaching this report as well. So we don't even need to log into Juno. It will just do this and it will send it to us whenever it thinks we need to know. And that's what makes it so powerful. So that's just one kind of thing you can do. What I would recommend is jumping into playbooks as well and looking at the AEO/SEO section, because you can just set up like 5-10 of these and just have it do all of this work for you. So tracking ChatGPT visibility, writing content, rewriting metadata, finding guest post opportunities, and even finding email addresses of people you need to contact, drafting the emails in your Gmail. There's all of these connections that you can automate work through. So it's worth going through this and just seeing where you can drive the most value. But this is a really great way just to optimize Google Search Console. And I hope that was helpful. If there's any other AI agents you'd like me to show you how to make, just drop a comment and I'll film a video for those too.